Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Physics Cafe by Manjeet Kaur. In this video, we study about force and law of motion. In previous chapter, we have studied about motion in a straight line, in which motion, velocity, acceleration of the object changes. So, what is the reason behind them? So, in this chapter, we study about the cause of motion, that is force. In class 8th, we know the definition of force, that is, push or pull of an object is considered a force. Push and pull come from the object interacting with one another. But this definition is not enough in class 9th. So we have to add some factors in this. So we have study detail. Here are some examples of force used in everyday life. To move a tire faster, it has to be pushed continuously. The books are placed on table which is in rest to change its state. So we have to apply force. When we pick a book from the table, its state gets changed from rest to motion. When the cricketer hit the ball from the bat, here force is applied. The force of your feet pushing on pedal when you ride your bike. So these are some examples of force used in everyday life. Now we have definition of force. Force is an external agent capable of changing the state of rest or uniform motion of a particular body. That means force is an external effect that is capable of changing the state. That means if the object is placed at rest, then by applying force we can change its state from rest to motion. Similarly, if an object is in motion, by applying force we can change its state from motion to rest. So in uniform motion, velocity is constant. To stop uniform motion we need to force, that means we have to push or pull. Now force has magnitude and direction, so it is a vector quantity. The SI unit of force is Newton and its symbol is capital F. Now we have the formula of force, that means the quantity of force is the vector product of mass m and acceleration a. Mathematically, we can express as F is equals to m into a, where F is force, m is mass and a is the acceleration of the object. So its SI unit is Newton or kilogram meter per second square. We know mass is measured in kilogram and acceleration is equals to meter per second square. So the SI unit of force will become kilogram meter per second square. Now we know the acceleration is equals to time rate of change of velocity. So acceleration is equals to b upon t. So we get the equation number 2. So put acceleration's value in equation number 1, which is force. So we get F is equals to mb upon t. So that is the formula of force. Now we know some effect of force on bodies. Force is always act on bodies. That means objects. It can change the object's velocity. It can move stationary object. That means if object is at rest, by applying force we can change its state. In this diagram, the football stays at rest, but when this boy kicks it, so its state gets changed. Its state comes into motion from the rest. So by applying force we can move stationary objects. Now the second example, it can stop moving object. That means if the body is moving by applying force, we can stop its motion. In this diagram, the boy catches the ball is in motion, but when the boy catches it, its motion gets stopped. So by applying force, we can stop moving objects. Force can change the shape of the object. In this diagram, the kid make many toys with the clay, so the shape of the clay gets changed by applying force. Next is it can change the direction of moving object. In this diagram, the girl hit the ball with a bat, so the direction of the ball gets changed. The last one is it can change the speed of an object. That means by applying force, we can decrease the speed of a vehicle, and also we can stop the vehicle by applying force. Similarly, if a vehicle goes on a very slow speed, by applying force, we also increase its speed. Imbalanced force. The equal and opposite force acting on a body that will not make the body move. That means when an equal and opposite force act on a body, it doesn't move because the force cancelled, so we get balanced force which doesn't move the object. The object stays at rest, its position not changed. Next we have unbalanced force. The unequal and opposite force acting on a body that move in the direction of greater force applied. That means when an unequal force applied in opposite direction, the force we applied is not equal, so that the body gets displaced from its original position and move in the direction where greater force applied. So here we have the balanced force and unbalanced force definition. Now we have example of force. How much net force is required to accelerate a 1000 kilogram car at 4 meter per second square. So we have solution. Acceleration is equals to 4 meter per second square. Mass is equals to 1000 kilogram. We know force is equals to mass into acceleration. So put the values of acceleration and mass in this formula. We get F is equals to 1000 multiplied by 4. So we get force is equals to 4000 Newton or 4000 kilogram meter per second square. It is defined as the quantity of motion of the body. All objects have mass, so if that object is moving, then it also has momentum. Momentum is measured by mass times velocity, so momentum basically depends upon mass and velocity of the object. In this diagram, the car's mass is 15 kilogram, but it is at rest, so its velocity is 0. So here momentum is 0. But in next, the velocity of the car is 10 meter per second, so momentum is 150 kilogram meter per second. More the velocity, more the momentum. Similarly, more the mass of the object, more the momentum. Now, momentum is a vector quantity because velocity is a vector quantity and mass is a scalar quantity. Momentum is equals to mass times velocity. We represent momentum by lowercase p, which is equals to m times velocity. The SI unit of momentum, first we know the SI unit of mass, which is equals to kilogram, and the SI unit of velocity, which is equals to meter per second. So the SI unit of momentum will become kilogram meter per second. Now we have an example. If 1000 kilogram car had a velocity of 20 meter per second, then find the momentum of the car. Now the mass of the car is 1000 kilogram The velocity of the car is 20 meter per second. By definition, momentum is equals to mass times velocity. So put this value of mass of car and velocity of car in this formula. So we get momentum of the car, which is equals to 20,000 kilogram meter per second. Now we have one more example. A car has mass 1200 kg, velocity is 20 meter per second, and a truck has mass 1700 kg and velocity is 20 meter per second. So find which one has higher momentum. In this, different mass of car and truck, but their velocity is same. So we have to find which one has higher momentum. The mass of the car is 1200 kg. The velocity of the car is 20 meter per second. Put the values of velocity of car and mass in momentum. So we get momentum of car, which is equals to 24,000 kilogram meter per second. Now find the momentum of truck. The mass of the truck is 1700 kg. Velocity of the truck, which is equals to 20 meter per second. So by putting the values of mass and velocity in momentum, we get momentum is equals to 34,000 kg meter per second. So from equation 1 and 2, we get momentum of car is less than the momentum of truck. That means 24,000 kg meter per second less than from the 34,000 kg meter per second. So momentum of the truck is higher than momentum of the car. The inability of a body to change its state of rest or motion by itself. That means in the absence of any external force, nobody can change their state. It remains at rest or motion along a straight line. Inertia of a body is directly proportional to the mass of the body. That means higher the mass, higher the inertia of that object. In this diagram, the inertia of rat is very small as compared to inertia of elephant, because the mass of the elephant is higher than the mass of the rat. So if we displace the rat, we have to apply very small force, but if we have to displace elephant from their position, we have to apply a great force. So that means heavier the body, greater the force required to change the state of the body, so heavier the inertia. Inertia has three types. Inertia of rest. It is the inability of a body to change its state of rest by itself. That means a body at rest remains at rest and cannot change moving on its own. For example, the books are placed on table, it remains at rest until we not apply any force on it. We have another example. When we shake a branches of a tree, the leaves fell down. This is because the branches comes in motion and the leaves tends to remain at rest, hence they get detached. We have one more example. When a horse starts suddenly, the rider tends to fall backward. This is because the lower part of his body starts moving with the horse, but the upper part tries to remain at rest due to inertia of rest. So these are some examples of inertia of rest. We have second type of inertia, which is inertia of motion. It is the inability of a body to change its state of motion by itself. That means a body in uniform motion can neither accelerate nor retard on their own and come to rest. That means their velocity is constant. Now we have example. An athlete runs a certain distance before taking a long jump. This is because velocity acquired by running is added to the velocity of the athlete at the time of jump. Hence, he can jump over a long distance. We have one more example. When a horse at full gallop stops suddenly, the rider falls forward on account of inertia of motion, because the lower part of his body comes to rest with the horse, but the upper part tends to continue its motion due to inertia of motion. We have one more example. When a bus stops suddenly, the passenger sitting inside tries to fall forward first. This is because the lower part of his body comes to rest with the bus, but the upper part tends to continue its motion due to inertia of motion. So these are some examples of inertia of motion. Now we have its third type, inertia of direction. It is the inability of a body to change its state of direction by itself. That means a body continues to move along the same straight line until we not apply any external force on it. For example, when a stone tied to one end of a string and wheel, the force was moving in a circle, but as soon the string breaks, the force vanishes. The stone, in a way to move along a straight line, flies off tangentially. We have one more example. An umbrella protects us from rain. The raindrop falling vertically downward cannot change their direction of motion because of the inertia of direction. We have one more example. When a car rounds a curve suddenly, the person sitting inside is thrown outward. This is because the person tries to maintain his direction of motion due to directional inertia while the car turns. So these are some examples of inertia of direction.
Newton formulated three laws of motion. These laws started as below. First is Newton's first law of motion. According to this law, a body continues to be in state of rest or motion unless an external force acted upon it. That means कोई भी बॉडी अगर वो स्टेट रेस्ट में है तो वो रेस्ट पे ही रहेगी जब तक हम उस पर कोई एक्सटर्नल फोर्स नहीं लगाते. सिमिलरली अगर कोई बॉडी मोशन में है तो वो मोशन में ही रहेगी जब तक हम उस पर कोई एक्सटर्नल फोर्स नहीं लगाते. Now we have example. When bus starts suddenly, the passenger sitting inside it feel backward direction. जी क्यों होता है? बिकॉज उसका लोअर पार्ट होता है वो मोशन में आ जाता है विद बस, बट जो अपर पार्ट है वो रेस्ट पे ही रहता है. सो डैट पैसेंजर फेल बैकवर्ड डायरेक्शन. ये होता क्यों है? ड्यू टू इनर्शिया. नाउ वी हैव अनदर. व्हेन द बस स्टॉप सडनली, द पैसेंजर सिटिंग इनसाइड द बस फेल बैक फॉरवर्ड डायरेक्शन. व्हाई दिस हैपन? बिकॉज उसका लोअर पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी होता है वो रेस्ट में आ जाता है, बट उसका अपर पार्ट है वो अभी भी मोशन में ही रहता है. तो ये क्यों होता है? ड्यू टू इनर्शिया. सो बेसिकली वी नो फ्रॉम हियर दैट इनर्शिया इज ऑल्सो नोन एज न्यूटन फर्स्ट लॉ ऑफ मोशन. दैट मीन्स न्यूटन के फर्स्ट लॉ को हम इनर्शिया भी कहते हैं. नाउ वी हैव न्यूटन सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन. According to this law, the rate of change of momentum of an object is proportional to the force applied on that object. तो इस लॉ के लिए हम थोड़ी मैथमेटिकली डेरिवेशन करेंगे. We know momentum is equals to mass time velocity. So momentum is equals to P, which is equals to m times velocity. Now we have to prove rate of change of momentum, which is equals to force applied. Now change in momentum, which is equals to final momentum minus initial momentum. So P2 minus V1, which is equals to mv minus mu. So rate of change of momentum is equals to mv minus mu upon t. That means the rate of change of momentum. Okay. Now take common m, b minus u upon t. We know acceleration is equals to change in velocity upon time. So in place of v minus u upon t, we write here a. So rate of change of momentum is equals to m times acceleration. We know f is equals to m times acceleration. So rate of change of momentum is equals to force applied. कि हम जितना फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं वो किसके इक्वल होता है? जिसका मोमेंटम चेंज होता है. So this is the derivation of Newton's second law. Now we have Newton's third law of motion. It states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That means कोई भी एक्शन होता है उस पर इक्वल और अपोजिट फोर्स अप्लाई होता है. In this diagram, the hands exerts a force on the ball, which is action. Similarly, the ball exerts a force but in opposite direction. So this is the reaction. Now we have another example. The body A exerts a force on body B, then the body B exerts a force on body A but in opposite direction. So we write as FAB, which is equals to minus FBA. So the pair of forces in this law are often called an action reaction pair. That means ये जो न्यूटन्स का थर्ड लॉ है वो हमेशा दो पेयर में अप्लाई होता है. That means which are action and reaction pair.
It states that total momentum of system remain conserved in the absence of external force. That means जब हम कोई external force किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट पे अप्लाई नहीं करते तो उसका total momentum conserve रहता है. That means वो change नहीं होता. Okay, तो इसकी जो फर्स्ट डेफिनेशन थी, its second definition is during collision total momentum of object before collision is equal to the total momentum of object after collision. That means during collision before और आफ्टर collision जो उसका टोटल मोमेंटम है वो क्या रहता है, सेम रहता है. ठीक है, उसमें कोई चेंजेस नहीं होते. नाउ वी हैव डायग्राम. m1 is the mass of object 1, m2 is the mass of the object 2. Here time is t, change in velocity. So force exerted by object 1 on object 2, which is equals to F12. Similarly, force exerted by object 2 on object 1, which is equals to Ft21. Here before collision we have velocities u1 and u2, and after collision velocity of m1 is v1 and velocity of m2 is v2. So here we have velocities before and after collision. Now change in momentum, which is equals to m into v. Now change in momentum of object 1, which is equals to m1 v1 minus m1 u1. So rate of change of momentum of object 1, which is equals to m1 v1 minus m1 u1 upon t. Here m1 is the mass of the object 1, v1 is the velocity of the object 1 after collision, and m1 is the mass of the object 1 and u1 is the velocity of the object 1 before collision. So rate of change of momentum of object 1. Now force exerted by object 2 on 1, which is equals to F21, which is m1 v1, which is m1 v1 minus m1 u1 upon t. So this is the equation number 1. Similarly, rate of change of momentum of object 2, which is equals to m2 v2 minus m2 u2 upon t. Here m2 is the mass of the object 2, v2 is the velocity of the object 2 after collision, and u2 is the velocity of the object 2 before collision. So force exerted by object 1 on object 2, that means F12, which is equals to m2 v2 minus m2 u2 upon t, which is the equation 2nd. Now according to Newton's third law, that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, then F12, which is equals to minus F21. Here negative sign show the opposite direction. So by using equation 1 and 2, we have force exerted by object 2 on 1, which is equals to force exerted by object 2 on object 1, which that means m2 v2 minus m2 u2 upon t, which is equals to minus bracket m1 v1 minus m1 u1 upon t. Here we put the values of f12 and f21. So we cancel here time. So we get m2v2 minus m2u2, which is equals to minus m1v1 plus m1u1. So finally we get m2v2 plus m1v1, which is equals to m2u2 plus m1u1. So this is the derivation of conservation of linear momentum. Now we have example when two objects of same mass 5 kg and their velocity is also same in opposite direction 6 meter per second collide and bounce in opposite direction with same initial velocity. Find initial and final momentum of the object. Here we have two objects and their mass is same. That means each object has 5 kg mass and their velocity is also same, which is 6 meter per second. And after collision their velocity remains same. Okay, so we have to find linear and final momentum of the object. So mass of object A and B, which is equals to 5 kg, velocity of object A and B, which is equals to 6 meter per second. We know momentum's formula. So total momentum before collision, which is equals to MAUA plus bracket minus MBUB. So put the values of mass of object A and B and velocity of object A and B in this formula. So total momentum is equals to 5 kg multiplied by 6 meter per second plus 5 kg bracket minus 6 meter per second. So total momentum is equals to 30 kg meter per second minus 30 kg meter per second. So before collision total momentum is equals to 0 kg meter per second. After collision total momentum, which is equals to 5 kg multiplied by minus 6 meter per second plus 5 kg multiplied by 6 meter per second. So with minus 30 kg meter per second plus minus 30 kg meter per second, which is equals to 0 kg meter per second. So this is the value of total momentum after collision. So total momentum before collision and total momentum after collision is same. Now we have example 6.0 kg gun fires a 20 gram bullet at a muzzle velocity of 400 meter per second. Muzzle velocity is that velocity with which a bullet leaves the muzzle of the gun. So what is the recoil velocity of the gun? Due to recoil velocity, the shooter experiences a backward jerk. Now we have solution. Mass of the gun mg equals to 6.0 kg. Mass of the bullet mb, which is equals to 0.020 kg. Here we convert gram into kilogram. Now velocity of the bullet, which is vv, equals to 400 meter per second. And velocity of the gun, which is equals to bg, 0 meter per second. Now in conservation of momentum, the momentum remains constant. Now mg vg plus mb bv equals to 0. So from here mg vg equals to minus mb into bv. From here we get the value of vg, which is equals to minus mb bv upon mg. So put here the value of mass of gun, mass of bullet, velocity of bullet and velocity of the gun in this formula. So we get the velocity of the gun, which is equals to minus 1.3 meter per second. Here negative sign show the gun moves backward.